All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, you see what time it is. That's right. You can see what time it is. It is blue-black Sakazuki time. That's right. We got a really fun Sakazuki list to go over today. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I'll explain more as we get to the deck list breakdown. But we got a fun one for today. So let's do this, guys. We're going to have a pretty standard video here where we're going to check out the deck list first, hop over to the sim. We got 3 games on the sim today, and then we're going to finish up by recapping. I'll tell you guys what I think about this leader moving forward. All right? Okay, guys, let's do this. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Today's video is brought to you by Nin Garden. To celebrate their 1-year anniversary, they're thanking the fans with a huge sale. Pre-orders are now open for the King of Hearts and Cotton Candy playmats, available while supplies last. And you can use my code, the VV Theory, at the checkout for an extra 5% off on your next order. Alright, guys, let's go ahead and break down this deck list, starting off with the leader. Sakazuki is a blue-black, 5,000 power, 4-life Navy leader with the effect, activate main once per turn. You may discard 1 card, draw 1 card. And then also, when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters cost -1. Okay, so now we're going to run through the deck list real quick. If you're a newer player, be sure to pause and read what each one of these cards do as we go over them. Okay, very interesting list. I know, you guys are probably looking at this like, what are we looking at? I'll explain more in a minute. Hang on, be patient, be patient. Okay, we're running 4 of the 3-cost ulti from OP04. We're running 4 of the 4-cost ulti from OP05. 4 Nami, 4 2K counter Suru, 4 Brook, 3 Hina, 3 Laboon, 3 Kuzan, 4 Rebecca, 2 of the 5-cost Sabo, 4 Who's Who, 4 of the OP08 5-cost Page 1, 3 Jack, 2 Isho, and 2 of the 10-cost Kuzan. So pretty wild list, right? Yeah. Don't worry, guys. I'm not suggesting this is the best way to play Sakazuki, but this is a very fun list I was kind of messing around with. I've been working on. The whole idea behind this version of Sakazuki, and then I'll show a more standard list in a minute. Hang on, guys. Bear with me. The whole idea behind this list is I want to be able to play out on turn 2 either this 3-cost ulti, pause and read what it does, and then, or this Brook here. I want to be able to slam these down right away and get going. I want to have threats on the board that deal with my opponent's board, because I feel like in the current format, there's not a whole lot of removal going around, unless you're playing against like Blackbeard or Lucci, right? There might be some red decks that have some removal built in as well, but I feel like overall there's not a whole lot of removal. Okay, well, if that's the case, if I can establish this ulti right away on turn 2, going first or second, and the same thing with Brook, well, then I'm pretty much off to the races. From there, I can slam down a Hina to start dealing with my opponent's board, or Laboon, or if it's a slower game, I can slam down Kuzan. If it's a faster game, I can cycle out this card with my leader effect and draw cards and go from there. We have a lot of options. Now, when I first started messing with this this version here, this Animal Kingdom Pirates version of the list, let me say this too. I have a video from a while back that goes over a similar list running the promo Blue-Black Sakazuki leader, and I will try to link that in the comment section below if I remember. And I got that idea. I did not come up with this idea originally. We're going to talk about the Page 1 and ulti combo in a minute. I did not come up with that idea originally. I saw it from a video from over in the East. Okay, and this was probably like 6 months ago or longer. This was a long time ago. But the whole idea was you run an Animal Kingdom Pirates package where you're running the searchers. Let me bring the searchers up real quick. There are 2 different searchers. There's the 1-cost Who's Who that does a top 5 Animal Kingdom Pirate search, and then there's the 1-cost Queen that does a top 5 Animal Kingdom Pirate search. So the idea was, okay, early on, we play out one of those 8 searchers, right, because you run 4 of each, and then you slam down ulti as soon as you can, or you know, either one of the ultis, to be honest, and then start trashing these ultis with your leader's effect to draw cards and cycle cards, and then you're going to play them back with the 5-cost Page 1. So it's kind of like a reanimator, recurring recursion style of deck built within the Sakazuki engine. Now, this is not that exact version, obviously. Like I said, there's new cards in here. The version I looked at was a long time ago, okay, with the Animal Kingdom Pirates package. But now that we have this leader, I will say this. I've seen some of the early results, and it looks like Sakazuki is struggling a little bit early on here, but who knows? Maybe we need to take the deck into a different direction. And that's the whole idea behind what you see on the screen here. It has enough of the standard package with the Hinas, Laboons, Brooks, Kuzans, Rebecca, and Sabos, and also Jack and Kuzan. It already has enough of the standard package, but then it's also building a few more things in to help us battle for the board. With in the mid to late game, we can play out a page 1 for 5, play up to 1 cost 4 or lower ulti from our trash, and then we get to flood the board a little bit, right? We can play out this 5 cost 5k page 1, and then pull out this ulti from the trash if we need to do some searching, or this ulti from the trash if we need some removal on the board. Okay, so that's kind of the whole idea here. Could be something here, I'm not sure. But one thing I am going to show real quickly here is the version that I recommend people play if they're trying to be a little bit more competitive with Sakazuki. Now, notice this list is running the old promo version. I will link the video that goes with this leader in the comment section below, because I think if you just take this old, well, I shouldn't say old leader. The original one's actually older, right? The one that just got unbanned. But this promo version here was not a really great leader, so you can just remove that and put in the original OP05 Sakazuki leader, and then this list just becomes even stronger. And this deck actually felt very strong when I was playtesting it with the promo Sakazuki, so it'll be even better with the original. Okay, so again, I will have an entire video going over this deck in the comment section below. I covered this about a month ago, okay? And if I was trying to be more serious, more competitive about Blue-Black Sakazuki, my list would be much more similar to this. I would probably still make a few revisions, though. I will have to revisit the more Navy-centric version of the list in the future. Okay, but for today's video, like I said, guys, we're going to be having a little bit of fun. Let me find it again. This one right here, I have it as Anazuki, as in like Animal Kingdom, Sakazuki. That's the whole play on words there, or why it's spelled in that way. But what are we trying to do with this version? We're trying to early on establish either ulti or establish Brook, so we have a threat on the board that our opponent has to worry about now. And if they can't deal with it, then we are going to slowly, every single turn, just wipe out their board, by comboing Brook and ulti with cards like Hina, Laboon, Kuzan, even the 8 cost Isho or 10 cost Kuzan. Okay, and then if we ever get any time to breathe, we might be able to have a play where we go, okay, let's play out Rebecca and then combo that with a page 1 to cheat out something like one of these ultis, and we can fill up the board like that. Or we can even do a very classic play nowadays where you go, okay, play out Rebecca, pulling out Sabo from the trash, playing Sabo, protecting your entire board, double blocker up here, and fix your hand a little bit. That's another very solid play in the mid game or even in the late game. And then, of course, our main KO engine in this deck is going to be primarily around Jack and Kuzan. Isho, I don't think it comes up much in the play testing we're going to see today. There might be some value here, though, as we get into OP13, if we have to square off against a lot of these new leaders that might have a bigger hand size. This card could come into play, but I think for the time being, for us over here in the West for OP12, I don't know if this card's actually worth running right now. And I think you guys will see kind of what I'm talking about in the when we get into the games. Okay? All right, well, that's about it, guys. Let's go ahead and hop over to the sim and see what this deck can do. Alright guys, first game up we have against Red Purple Roger. That's right, from OP13. Volume is off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. Let me mention something real quickly though before we start this game. The only way that I know how to play Sakazuki currently is on the Unlimited feature on the sim. So pretty much everything we're going to see today, I think with the exception of one game, we have Red Purple Roger, Red Black Sabo from OP13, and Green Purple Lim. Yeah, so 2 of the games today are going to be OP13 focused, and then one of them will be, pretty much whatever with Green Purple Lim. But the idea is I can't really focus on OP12 matchups just yet, because on the Unlimited client, or on the Unlimited part of the client, there's not a whole lot of OP12 only or specific matchups. I had to focus on whatever I could, get my hands on, so to speak, up front here. But don't worry, over time we will we'll revisit this later and focus on the OP12 stuff. Okay, so here we go, guys. Volume's off, speed's on 2x. We're off to the races here, and check out this hand. Not terrible, actually. This might not seem like a very good hand at first glance, but we have a early Brook to play out, so we're good there. And on turn 1, guys, don't forget to use your leader effect. Trashing a card to draw a card. Filling up your trash and fixing your hand. They play out a buggy to ramp a Dawn. We're going to go ahead and swing for 6, go -1 cost to the buggy. We're going to trash an ulti to fix our hand, playing out the Brook to KO the buggy. We want to keep our opponent's board clear at all times if we can. That is how Sakazuki works. It's very similar to Lucci, where we just want to clear our opponent's board every single time if we can. That's kind of how control decks work in the game of One Piece. Okay, so we're going to play out a Nami here to fix our hand, putting 2 cards on the bottom of our deck. We're trying to get through our entire deck here and get to all the cards we need. We're going to swing for 6. I think they 2K countered out, and now we're going to pass the turn back. So they're going to go ahead and go up to 9 Dawn for the turn, but they only get to play with 8 of it because of their leader effect. They play out a Silver's Rayleigh. Seems good. They take out my blocker. That's unfortunate. I'm going to swing for 5 here, guys, and guess what? I just have to play out Jack here, trash a card with my leader effect to fix my hand, and pass the turn back. I need 1 turn to set up. This is my most vulnerable turn right here. I need to just kind of survive as best I can and hope my opponent cannot deal with Jack, which they probably cannot. They're swinging for 9. They're swinging for 9. We're just going to take both. They're going to play out Odin and pause. We're now on our 10 Dawn turn, and my opponent is about to be in trouble. We needed 1 turn to set up. Now consider what's in my hand, guys. Number 1, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9K counter. And look what we have in our hand. The 10 cost Kuzan. What is that going to let us do? We're going to be able to play that out to KO the Kazuki Odin for free, right? It's just going to get rid of that. And then my Jack is going to be able to KO an 8 cost character with the Kuzan on the board, and I'm going to be able to deal with the Rayleigh. Okay, so here we go. We're about to completely demolish our opponent's entire board here. Okay, draw a card and trash a card with Jack's effect. Get rid of the 8 cost there because of the Kuzan. And now we're just going to have to pass the turn. We can't really do anything because they're a 7,000 power leader. Okay, now they're going to play out the 10 cost Roger, the purple one. And check this out. They're going to go 9 into 6. Okay, 2K, 2K. And now I've got really bad news for my opponent. The game's basically over at this point. Now, they are still a 7,000 power leader because they get plus 2,000 from Roger's effect. No big deal. We'll swing for 8 into 7. And then we'll use our leader effect to fix our hand a little bit and pass the turn back. So right here, my opponent is just going to play out a Silver's Rayleigh here and load up on their leader and swing. Now, guess what? Watch this, guys. I'm actually going to counter out of this. Who knows why I'm going to try to counter out of this? Okay, 2K, 1K, 1K, 1K. That felt terrible. Okay, that felt absolutely terrible. But why did we do that? I'm in a position right now where I basically can only lose to 1 card. There's only 1 card I can lose to, and that is the 10 cost red Goldie Roger. The one that is that has if you or your opponent has 0 life cards, then no one can activate blocker. That's the only thing I can lose the game to right now. So my logic here is, okay, I actually have my opponent on a timer. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of their character on the board, and then I'm going to swing everything at face and try to win next turn. That's my entire, that was why I did everything the way I did there. Okay, now watch this. We drew a Rebecca for the turn. That's not the worst draw. We're going to swing for 5 into 5. They're probably going to counter out for that. Okay, we're going to swing 10 into 5. We're going to swing 10 more into 5. And now they're going to take this, and we're just going to crack their Silver's Rayleigh. We're not playing this game at all. Okay, we get rid of that. Now we get to play out the Rebecca, grabbing the 5 cost Sabo out of the trash, playing out the Sabo for 5, fixing my hand, and now we're going to pass the turn. We don't need to use our leader effect because we have 2 2K counters in hand. We are pretty much in... We are secured in this game now. Okay, so now he's going to try to swing for 9 and 9 and try to take out some characters on the board. But here's the problem. I have 2K, 2K. Now he's just going to go ahead and concede here. Pause. Because why did he concede? Because now with his Silver's Rayleigh, he's just going to attack into my Rebecca, right? Okay, well, that doesn't really matter to me because, or he's going to attack in and I'm just going to use my Rebecca, right? Well, now next turn, I'm going to swing everything at face. And I'm going to be able to probably win the game. But even if I couldn't win the game, I can just get rid of that Silver's Rayleigh, and then he's done for, right? Because I still have that 1 life that I was clinging on to for dear life. I was clinging on to that, and I could still leave my Sabo open on the next turn. So wherever he swings with his Silver's Rayleigh, I block with Rebecca, and then after that, on my turn, I'm probably just going to swing 11-11 and then KO his Silver's Rayleigh with my Jack. I draw a Brook for the turn, so who knows, maybe I could have actually just gone about things that way because I wouldn't have Rebecca on the board anymore. I could just get rid of that and go from there. Either way, the point is I'm going to leave my Sabo up if I don't think I can win, and I have the 1 life cushion, and then we're completely fine. But at the same time, maybe I shouldn't have done that in case they did get the 10 cost red Goldie Roger. Either way, good game to my opponent. That was a fun one. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, that was against Red Purple Roger. Now we have a game versus Red Black Sabo. Volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. Okay, now this hand is not very good. I have to say this is not what we were looking for. Everything's like a 4 and 5 cost. We have now we did use the leader effect and get to a Brook there, so that is good. That does go in our favor. Our opponent's going to play out a Koala here. They're going to swing for 7 into 5. I think we're actually going to counter out, guys. Watch this. We're going to counter out with a 2K, 1K, filling up our trash and keeping our life high. Now watch. We're going to swing for 5, give -1 to the Koala. This is 5,000 into 4,000. And let's see what our opponent does. They'll probably just take this. That was the right call. We're going to play out Rebecca, getting our 2K counter back, playing out the Brook, getting rid of their Koala, and now we're going to use our leader effect to fix our hand. They're going to go 4 into 4. I'm actually going to save that card, guys. I'd rather keep it on the board. Okay, now this, okay, pause. Let's talk about this for a minute here. This Red Black Sabo player is playing a board flood version of Red Black Sabo. And I guess, I don't know, I would consider most versions of Red Black Sabo board flood, but this is a low to the ground board flood where they're playing out Ivankovs and Lindberghs, you know, the 5-cost Ivankov into Lindbergh. I don't think that's the best way to build the deck, but at the same time, who knows? We don't know what the best way is just yet. It will probably depend on the matchups too. Okay, so that does make me feel a little bit better, though. I will say that. Seeing cards like that, those are much easier for me to deal with this version of the deck. We're going to play out a Laboon, and now we're going to swing for 5 into 4, getting rid of the Ivankov, and then we're going to go 6 into 5. Okay, they'll probably give me a 2K counter, and I will just pass the turn. I'll use our leader effect, trashing a card to fix our hand, unfortunately, we got another Jack. I think we only want 1 of those, but that's okay. We can always trash it next turn to fix our hand. Okay, so what's our opponent going to do here? Let's see what they want to do. 5 into 5, I think I'm actually going to give him the 1K counter here because I can get out of it. I can't get out of anything else, and I still have a blocker. So now I'm forcing him to have some type of rush card, or wherever he swings with his leader, I can just block with my Rebecca, and I'm fine. They play out a Karasu. Very interesting idea they have here, and a Morley. So like I was saying earlier, guys, they're running an entire deck of like lower cost, lower to the ground characters. I don't know if that's the way I would build Red Black Sabo. I think going taller with it seems to be the better idea, but again, who knows? We'll have to see. So I swing 5 into 5 here, and then I swing 5 more into 5. I'm just eating up my opponent's entire hand. Watch this, guys. We're gonna swing 5 into 5 with our Brook as well. Play out the Jack. We're going to get rid of the Karasu. We fix our hand a little bit. I think we're going to end up trashing the Hina because I know I'm going to lose my Jack this turn. I can't protect Jack, guys. It is what it is. It's completely fine. We're going to lose Jack this turn pretty much for sure. There's no way we can stop it. 10 into 8, yep, that card's gone. And now 7 into 5, that card's gone. 7 into 4, that card's gone. And here we go. I'm like, okay, well, that was less than ideal. So right here, we're going to play out the Jack. We're going to go ahead and KO the active Morley. And now we're going to swing 8 into Lindbergh. And watch this, guys. Did y'all see what just happened there? I noticed this when I was playing. You know, wait a minute. If I attack in with my leader and if my opponent's Red Black Sabo, and if I reduce the cost of their 8 cost character on the board, that will knock off their leader buff if they only have 1. So that will come into play later, guys. Keep that in mind. Store that, you know, in your memory there. That's going to come into play later. Okay, they swing 10 into 8. My card's gone. 7 into 5. Okay, nice. I did get a trigger, KO 3 or less from Who's Who. We'll take it. And then they swing in. We're down to 2 life. This is not good, right? This is not very good. Okay, but it's not over yet either. We still have a chance here. Okay, right here, I do need to go for this Monkey D Dragon, and I have to go for it in a very annoying way. So we're going to go 10 into there, and did you see that? That was when I first realized, wait a minute, that's going to come in handy. Watch this, guys. When I swing 10,000 into this dragon and reduce his cost by 1, watch the power fall off him before he gets KO'd. Watch this, guys. Okay? Load up for 5, swing 10, -1. Oh, there goes his leader's buff as well. Seems good. We play out the Sabo to fix our hand a little bit. We get rid of 1 2K counter and probably 1 Sabo blocker. I want to have some 2K counters in hand, and I also want to have, you know, some ways to threaten the board. They play out a Sakazuki that has on play. Our opponent cannot, you know, on play and when attacking, your opponent cannot activate blocker, I believe. So that's unfortunate. We do need to deal with that to the best of our ability. But hey, guys, I think we might be able to. Can y'all do the math? Pause. Can we get rid of this character on the board this turn? Do a little bit of math right now. You see what's in my hand. We have the Brook, we have Suru, Laboon, and Who's Who. Let's see if we can do it. Okay, and don't forget our leader, when attacking, -1 cost. So we're going to swing 5 into 5 here. -1 cost to the Shanks. Okay, they're at 9. Okay, play out Laboon. Okay, on activate main, -4. So now they're at 5. Suru, -2. They're at 3. And Who's Who? Trashing a card? We'll get rid of that card. Okay, and now my board's completely full. Nice. Okay, great. You love to see it. That's what Sakazuki does, right, guys? That's what Sakazuki does. Now, that was an interesting card. I think if they were just playing the 8-cost Dragon in the place of that Shanks, it would have been so much scarier. So they're going to swing in there, guys, and watch this. They play out a Koala. Pause. What are you guys doing in this situation? We have 3 cards in hand. We have 2K counter in hand altogether. Okay, 2,000 counter in hand. We're going for lethal. Okay, let me just be honest with you guys. We are going for lethal, and my opponent is 6,000 power. Or are they? Or are they 6,000 power, guys? Because understand, if we have no blocker in hand either, by the way, we're just going for it. So watch this, guys. Watch how we deal with this. We're going to attack in with our Sakazuki leader first, and what does he have when attacking? -1 cost to a character for the turn. So we're going to swing for 7 into 5 now. Notice that we reduced the cost of the dragon. That turned off the leader effect because they have no other 8-cost character on the board. So now we're swinging 7 into 5. Okay, and now they're in a little bit of trouble now, right? They're in a little bit of trouble. So now they only have 5,000 power. I'm looking at their trash. I think I see 3 2K counters. I'm like, you know what? They got it or they don't. I'm going to swing 8 and then 10 because they did have 1 more card to draw. We're going to swing for 10. We just barely had it, guys. They had 1. They had 3K counter. So I guess swinging for 9 and 9 would have gone through, but I wanted to try to make sure both attacks could go through because they did have that life. They were going to draw an extra card. Could have been an extra 2K counter or something like that. You never know. Either way, good game to my opponent. Let's move on to the next one. All right, last game here. We got a game versus Green Purple Lim. Okay, volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. Okay, I really like this hand, guys. This is a nice hand we have here so far. Hey, there's Isha. We haven't really seen him yet, and we're not going to see him this game either. That's right. Turn 1, trash the card, draw a card. It's still a good card to have, even though it seems kind of funny. Like, okay, you're just trashing it right away. Guys, it can come into play against certain matchups where it's really, really strong. And that Dawn -3 to the board effect, if you get down a Brook, they're in trouble. They're in a lot of trouble. Okay, right here, we're going to swing for 5 into 5. They take that. We're going to play out the Kuzan, and then we're going to trash a card with our leader effect, the ulti, to draw a card, and now we're going to pass the turn back. We're doing a setup turn. So guys, whenever you're playing control decks, I got to pause and explain this real quick, guys. For any of the new players out there, if you're trying to get used to playing control decks, you need to start getting in the mindset of having a setup turn. Like right here, now you do have to have some knowledge of what your opponent can or can't do. And I know that Green Purple Lim will have very, very few ways of dealing with this Kuzan. So I'm kind of thinking I'm keeping that in mind with this play here. It's like, okay, how is he even going to deal with my Kuzan? He probably won't have a very good answer for it. I think because even the 6-cost new gate, the 5-cost new gate, I think that can only rest a 5-cost and then KO a 3 or less. So I think my Kuzan's very safe in this situation. That's why I used this turn to set up for the next turn. Okay, here we go. So Lim, they swing for 6 with their Enel. I'm just going to 2K counter out of that. I am going to counter out of these 6Ks very aggressively, guys. 6K more. Yep, I think we're going to counter out of this one too because they run cards like Mihawk. Here we go. Leader effect, ramping a Dawn. There you go. Playing out the Mihawk, standing up Enel. Now they can swing for 7 or 8. Actually, they just play out Nami and lock down my board, and they don't swing with Enel. That was an interesting idea there. because I'm not too worried about Enel, right? I'm not too worried because I could just remove the Enel if I want to, right? So here we go. We swing in for 5 into 2 with Kuzan into Nami, -4 cost to the Enel, 6K into 6K here with our leader, and then we're going to go ahead and play out the Rebecca, grabbing back a 2K counter from our trash. We're going to use leader effect first, trashing the Kuzan to fix our hand, and then we're going to play out the Rebecca, grabbing the 2K, playing out the Brook, getting rid of the Enel, and passing turn. We have 4 life, we have a blocker, and we have a pretty decent board right now. We have threats on the board. Okay, but we only have 6 Dawn. We'll be on 8 Dawn next turn. Our opponent has 9 Dawn. Whoa, they swing for 5 into 4. That's very telling. Guys, they're about to drop down a big character. They go 6 and 4. Okay, well, here's my blocker because I know what they're trying to drop down, guys. There it is, Zoro. Okay, so, pause. What are we doing in this situation here? What are we doing in this situation here? I have to get that card off the board, or I have to start going for lethal. Because I could probably survive one more turn, to be fair. Like, I probably can survive this next turn, even with Zoro on the board. Because I've been aggressively countering out. I could play out one blocker, fix my hand, probably survive one more turn, like I said. However, I'd rather not take that chance. The first thing I need to do is do some math right here. I already have a Kuzan on the board, so I can go -4 to the cost of that Zoro right now. I can do -1 with Brook, because remember, guys, Brook does -1 cost when attacking, and then it KOs a 0 cost character afterwards. So you could -1 just by swinging, even if you can't KO a 0. So that's -5 right there, and then -1 more with my Sakazuki. I can -6 cost to this character, Zoro, on the board right now, without, so I just need to find a way to do something with that. I have a Brook in hand, and I have a few options. I can either play out my ulti this turn. Okay, I can use my leader effect, right? Use my leader effect to, trash a card from hand and see what I can get from that. And then if that doesn't work, I can also use ulti to dig a little bit deeper, try and find something like a Laboon, or try to find something like a either Laboon or the 3-cost Hina. All right, so let's see what happens here. Okay, I'm having to do quite a bit of math here because this is basically for all the marbles right here. This is for the game. This turn right here is literally the entire game. So we're going to use our leader effect, trashing a Sabo because we had 2. We get Jack. That's all we needed. Now we get to do things differently. Now we can swing for 6. Or, excuse me, swing for 5 into 5. Everything at face, -1 cost to the Zoro. The only thing that can save them now is a trigger. They did not get a trigger. So -1, -4, and then -1. And now they're down to 3 cost, and now we can play out the Jack for 7, and we're going to be able to tap that, fix our hand, get rid of that. They're going to concede. I think they left a little bit early, to be fair, but at the same time, what are they going to do now? As the game gets later and later, it gets worse and worse for my opponent, right? It doesn't get any easier from here. So now, even if they tried, I mean, they could establish a Shanks and, like, wipe out my board for the most part. They could get rid of my Jack and my Kuzan, maybe, or maybe the Brook if they're more scared of that. I understand that. Whatever the case is, they could get rid of my board, but here's the thing. I see they do have a counter in hand, so maybe they were scared of me going for lethal afterwards because they have nothing but bricks in hand, and they can only establish one of these huge characters next turn, and that's their whole turn, right? So if they play out the Shanks, they can then load up all the rest of the Dawn, swing 9, swing 10, and get rid of 2 characters on my board, and then go from there. I don't know. Whatever the case is, they decided they're just going to quit, and then they moved on from there. Good game to my opponent. Losing a character like that on curve while my board still looks like this, and we still have 4 life, that is a scary spot to be in for the Lim player. I think they left a little bit early, but I understand why they left. Okay, good game to my opponents. Let's go back to the deck list. All right, guys, so here it is. These cards didn't come up a whole lot in today's testing. But they were kind of interesting. I think there might be something there. I think it really depends on the matchup. Like against decks that are trying to go pretty wide on the board, that's where I think a card like Page 1 and Ulti like this are actually very, very strong. And what's the worst case scenario? It's a 1K counter that I'm glad goes into the trash. So I can trash this with my leader effect to fix my hand. Same thing with this Ulti, by the way. I can trash these cards with my leader effect to fix my hand. And then later I can play out the Page 1 to pull them back out of the trash. And then Rebecca can even grab back the Page 1 if I need to get more tempo on the board. By the way, Rebecca can also get back Jack, which is really, really important. That's really good for the deck. But other than that, I will say this. The whole idea behind this deck right now, with the way you see it currently, is Brook is so strong in Blue-Black Sakazuki. I feel like he carries a lot of the times, and I have the Rebecca in here as well to help bring him back. Brook is very strong with Sakazuki when you can combo it with cost reduction like from Hina, Laboon, Kuzan, and whatever. So that was kind of another idea behind this 3-cost ulti, where it's like, okay, say I don't draw Brook in my opening hand. It's not going to happen every game, right? I'm not going to see Brook every single game. Okay, well, putting this ulti in there, that's one more option that I have to get rid of my opponent's cards. So I just wanted to increase the amount of chances I had of establishing a 3-cost threat right on turn 2, going first or second against my opponent. So that was working out very well. The Kuzan was really nice too. I mean, like we saw with the red-purple Roger game, that was it. Once this card gets established, guys, your opponent is in a lot of trouble. Like, they're in oodles of trouble, right? They're in a lot of trouble. Isho is like a miniature version of Kuzan, so it's probably even better against certain matchups, against like the decks that go wider and that are lower to the ground. But at the same time, against those decks, the problem is they're probably not going to have a big hand size because they're playing all their cards from their hand. So Isho is in a very weird spot in the deck, and he's kind of on the chopping block. You guys tell me what y'all think about this card in the comment section below. I think we can replace it and get better options elsewhere. Maybe even something like a 2-cost Hound Blaze to take the place of it. I think that could also go here, or even like a 7-cost Gravity Blade. Jack is really strong, guys. Typically speaking, I would recommend everyone run Marshall D. Teach moving forward. I just think the card's really, really strong compared to Jack. However, with Blue-Black Sakazuki, Sakazuki cannot fill up the trash as good as a deck like Lucci can. It's not much worse, by the way, but it can't fill up, you know, the trash just quite as good as Lucci can. So Jack does help us fill out our trash, fix our hand, and do things like that. So I think Jack is really, really strong within Sakazuki. Page 1, like I said, I already spent a while talking about this, but notice there are a lot of Animal Kingdom Pirate cards in this deck. We are still running 3 Jack, 4 Page 1, 4 Who's Who, 4 Ulti, 4 of the 4-cost Ulti, and 4 of the 3-cost Ulti. So you probably could find... It would not be crazy to run maybe Queen in this deck, the 1-cost Queen. Hang on, let me go to the black cards. See if I can find it real quick, guys. Okay, I don't know why I didn't just type in Queen. Okay, here it is. You could probably run this card in the deck, and it would probably help out the deck quite a bit. And if that's the case, you actually can just replace Suru with, I think his name's Sasaki. Yeah, or Sasaki, whatever his name is. This is a similar effect to Suru. I would say it's not as good as Suru because it does require 2 Dawn to do its effect on that first time. However, it does sit on the board. Activate main, you may rest one of your Dawn and this character, and then up to one of your opponent's characters gets -2 cost for this turn. So in other words, your opponent has to now deal with this card, right? So that becomes very, very annoying for your opponent to deal with. So there's that. But I will say this, though. I think Suru is just kind of better in general. Just playing out a 1-cost, -2 to their character for the turn. And later in the game, guys, if we are running this ulti combo, we can actually bounce our Suru back to our hand, right? And that's why I would like to get something in the deck that's like a 1-cost, maybe a 1-cost Sengoku, and I put a few more Navy cards in the deck or something like that. We'll have to figure it out. But I want to put a little bit more stuff in the deck that I can bounce back with ulti. Because notice what it says. Dawn ×1 when attacking, return up to 1 cost 2 or lower character to its owner's hand or bottom of the deck. So you get to choose, okay? You get to choose the character that you're pushing back, and you get to choose does it go to their hand or to the bottom of the deck. So we could bounce back a Suru to our hand or bounce back one of our opponent's characters to the bottom of their deck. Okay, so this card seems really, really strong, and I do want to test this a lot more. What else? Sorry, guys, if you hear my stomach rumbling, it's about that time. I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. Okay, but yeah, this ulti here, very, very solid. I think it has a lot of potential. And what's the worst case scenario? It's a 1K counter. We can just trash it, no problem, get rid of it. It is blue, so we don't have the synergy with Rebecca, but hey, it is what it is. You know, I think that's just fine. This ulti is also very nice because you could just play this out on curve. And notice what this does, guys. Okay, on play, if your leader's multicolored, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add 1 to your hand. You don't reveal the card. Your opponent has no idea what it is, and it's not locked. It's not like type locked. You can grab any card from your hand, or excuse me, from those top 3 cards, and then place the rest in any order on the top or bottom of the deck. So you get to fix your hand, fix your deck, whatever, and go from there. And it's a 4-cost 5K. It's a 1K counter. You can pull it back with this page 1. I was was a big fan of this card. It just didn't come up a whole lot in today's games, unfortunately. So this seemed, I will say this seemed pretty good. And we might just have to mess around with the ratios. Like maybe we only need 3 of this ulti, maybe only 3 of this ulti, and maybe only 3 page 1s. Who knows? Maybe we need to go to about 10 cards altogether for that package. Because remember, guys, if we need to, we can even grab page 1 back with Rebecca. Okay, the Sabo, very solid. Not much to say here. Who's who? If we're going to try to mess around, like we could definitely adjust this list to make it more Navy focused. And let me go ahead and show what that might look like. Let me go back to my OP11 version of Sakazuki. This is I would consider this a more serious version of Sakazuki. Notice we have a lot of synergy going on here. We have the Sengokus. We're still running Rebecca's and Brooks for the removal. We're running Marshall D. Teach. Maybe we swap this out with the 7-cost Jack. And then I don't know if we need the Isho like we were saying. Maybe we don't need 4 Hound Blazes or all 3 of these Gravity Blade Raging Tigers. We could even go +1 Hina or even more than that. We can move the numbers around from here. But I think this is definitely a much stronger like core Navy package for what we're trying to do with Blue Black Sakazuki. And if we stick to this route, notice I'm running 4 Sengokus. This is going to help us fill up our trash and go from there. Because, guys, one thing I noticed when testing this deck, again, I will have the video on this version of the deck with the promo leader. I will have that in the comment section below. This Sengoku ends up being pretty gross, guys, because you can do a lot with this card. Bringing back your Kuzans every time. Think about it, guys. When you play out Sengoku, you're going -1 in hand, but you're establishing a 7,000 power blocker. Well, also, if you play out Kuzan, you're actually drawing a card. So you're not even going -1 in hand. You're establishing 2 bodies while staying neutral in hand size. So really, really good stuff there. Okay, so I just wanted to leave this on the screen here for those who might be interested in how I might be building Saka in the future once they update the sim and I can play against more OP12 decks. All right, so let's get the OP12 version on here one more time, guys, and we'll start wrapping this up. I will give you guys a sneak peek. Of another fun version of Blue Black Sakazuki that, hey, if you guys want to try it out before me and tell me how it goes, by all means do so in the comment section below or on the Discord. Tell me how it goes. But this is another version I was kind of messing around with. I know, I'm a mad lad. An absolute mad lad, but I think there could be something here, guys. This is the next one I want to kind of mess around with. Notice it's running Plague Shot. Main, you may trash 1 Ice Oni card from your hand and place 1 character with a cost of 4 or lower on the bottom of the owner's deck, and then play 1 Ice Oni card from your trash. So, guys, this is Ice Oni. 8 cost, 0 power character with a 1k counter, your turn. At the end of battle between this character and an opponent's 5 cost or lower character, that's not base cost, okay? Place the opponent's character at the bottom of the owner's deck. So guys, just attacking with our Sakazuki means we can hit a 6 or lower with Ice Oni's effect, and we can combo that with something like the stage to hit a 7 or lower, and we can go from there. Even this Scratch and a Poo, give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost for the turn. We could start hitting some crazy stuff like that, right? Oh gosh, my stomach's going crazy. All right, hang on. Let me go back to the list one more time. But this is the list for today. You guys got a sneak peek of a future project, maybe with Blue Black Sakazuki. I'm just really enjoying this Animal Kingdom Pirates package built around Sakazuki. I know it wasn't meant for that, but hey, it's working out kind of fun. It's been pretty fun to mess around with. All right, I'm done, guys. Tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. What do y'all think about Blue Black Sakazuki? I know a lot of people did not want to see this leader come back. Other people were ecstatic, and they love seeing the leader back. And guys, tell me, are we cooking with this list, or are we crazy? You know, on today's episode of Are We Cooking or Are We Crazy? Guys, were we cooking today with Blue Black Sakazuki, or are we just crazy? Y'all tell me in the comment section below. Just please be nice. All right, let me get the outro page on here, guys. Let's wrap this up. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And guys, if you are liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, if you're helping me out in any way, guys, I really appreciate it. Using my TCG Player affiliate link, donating through Patreon or PayPal. If you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, or part of the Discord community, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you. If you're helping out this community in any way, shape, or form, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Till next time, peace.